wonder what happens when you mix hot lava and chicken?
Minecraft in the United States in one weekend made more money than Snow White has made globally after 3 weekends.
It was supposed to be Rachel Zegler's fairy tale moment, her big, shining Disney debut as the face of the new live-action Snow White, a moment where everything she had worked for would finally align: Disney magic, Hollywood stardom, and a fresh twist on a timeless story. But almost as soon as whispers started swirling about major changes to the beloved fairy tale, the public turned. And oh, when the tables turned, they turned hard. At first, it was just little grumbles online, but soon, the backlash snowballed, and poor Rachel found herself caught in the middle of a cultural hurricane. And then came the confrontation, the moment Jack Black allegedly called her out, and everything unraveled.
Rachel Zegler then inexplicably continued to post herself in an empty theater for her own movie. She's literally the only person there. Meanwhile, the experience at Minecraft goes something like this.
Chicken
When Jack Black, yes, the Jack Black, the comedic legend himself, allegedly confronted Zegler about the growing disaster around Snow White, it wasn't just a casual chat. Sources say he went straight for the jugular, questioning not just the film's troubled production, but Rachel's entire attitude about it. And according to multiple insiders, this confrontation sent Rachel spiraling into a full-blown breakdown, one that exposed just how much pressure had been bubbling beneath the surface for months. What was supposed to be a sweet Disney remake, it was now a messy, chaotic saga, and Rachel was smack in the eye of the storm.
The future of Hollywood is being battled out right now in theaters as 2 live-action remakes from the biggest studios in Hollywood go head-to-head.
Before Jack even stepped in, fans were already raising their eyebrows. Bad creative decisions, test screenings that flopped, speculation that Disney had completely lost its way. Dedicated Disney diehards, the people who lined up for every remake from The Lion King to Beauty and the Beast, started feeling uneasy. And once the skepticism took root, it was only a matter of time before it exploded.
Warner Brothers' Minecraft movie versus Disney's Snow White, which in theory should be quite a battle, but it's not even a fair fight.
Whispers grew louder. Was this new Snow White just a preachy, awkward mess? Was Disney so obsessed with making a statement that they forgot how to tell a simple, magical story? At first, people chalked it up to typical online negativity, but the deeper Disney pushed forward, releasing trailers, interviews, sneak peeks, the louder the chorus of complaints grew, and soon, even Disney's top brass had to notice the smell of disaster in the air.
Snow White, of course, famously played by the insufferable girl boss narcissist, who's just clinical at this point, saying that audiences will always line up to see her no matter what she does.
Premiere.
In a desperate move, Bob Iger himself, the Disney boss, stepped in alongside Rachel, trying to calm the waters. They insisted the movie was misunderstood, that everything was on track. But honestly, their reassurances fell on deaf ears. Behind the scenes, the whispers got even uglier. Frantic reshoots, last-minute edits, entire scenes cut and rearranged until the movie's timeline was practically incoherent. It was becoming obvious. This wasn't just a little stumble. This was a full-on collapse.
And everything I do, people will wait in line to see.
Test audiences painted a brutal picture. The movie started with a spark, a little glimpse of that classic Disney magic, but almost immediately, it nosedived into chaos. The pacing went haywire. The tone swung from awkward seriousness to jarring whimsy. And the worst part, it didn't even feel like Snow White anymore.
You know what's interesting about all this is that the only person waiting in line to see Snow White was Rachel Zegler.
Then came the alleged Jack Black confrontation. Jack, known for being both hilarious and surprisingly insightful about Hollywood's inner workings, apparently couldn't hold his tongue. He allegedly pulled Rachel aside and bluntly asked, was it really wise to dismiss critics as ignorant or haters? Was it smart to alienate the very fans Disney needed so badly? The rumor mill exploded.
Rachel Zegler then inexplicably continued to post herself in an empty theater for her own movie. She's literally the only person there. And do you not understand how humiliating this is?
And according to insiders, Rachel didn't take it well. Witnesses say she became visibly upset, her voice shaking, her whole demeanor crumbling in front of everyone. Some say she flat out broke down, right there in front of the cast and crew. Others whisper that she stormed off, barely holding back tears. Either way, it was clear Rachel had hit her breaking point.
Meanwhile, the experience at Minecraft goes something like this.
Other sources believe it wasn't just Jack's words that pushed her over the edge. The reshoots, the non-stop fan backlash, the gut-wrenching feeling that this movie, her dream project, was slipping through her fingers. All of it built up until Jack's confrontation became the final straw. And the internet? They pounced.
And the cops had to escort the rowdy teenagers out. The Minecraft movie is doing something magical. It's creating a live audience reaction event.
By now, fans weren't just criticizing Snow White, they were gleefully tearing apart the entire production. Every rumor about Jack and Rachel's blow-up became another weapon in the arsenal. If you had doubts about Disney's direction before, this so-called meltdown was the proof you needed that something was seriously wrong. Neither Disney nor Rachel dared address it publicly. But the silence? It only made the rumors grow louder.
Encouraging to see a movie that decided to do the opposite of Snow White, which is, according to all available reviews, including from the people that I trust the very most on this platform.
Some fans tried to urge caution, reminding everyone that big-budget productions are always stressful and emotional moments aren't uncommon. Maybe Rachel's alleged breakdown didn't mean the whole movie was doomed, but deep down, the core question remained. Was this still the Snow White we loved, or had Disney buried its magic under layers of clumsy messaging and sloppy editing?
It is non-political. The Minecraft movie does not try to beat you and box you about the ears with the message.
And let's be real, if this was just silly fun for kids, like Disney wanted us to believe, then why did it feel so heavy-handed and awkward? Test audiences were brutal. The story never flowed. Scenes smashed into each other without any rhythm. Even Jack Black's rumored comedic moments, if he had any, couldn't save it from feeling like a bloated mess weighed down by some hidden agenda. Meanwhile, Bob Iger and Rachel clung to their optimism, desperate to turn the ship around.
It is just silly fun for kids, which is what a kids' movie should be.
Bob tried to spin it. Disney, he said, had always reinvented classics to reach new generations. But this time, even Disney's most loyal fans weren't buying it. Comment sections, fan pages, and YouTube breakdowns lit up with rage. This wasn't just different, it felt wrong. The heart of Snow White, the magic, the simplicity, the wonder, had been replaced by something else. And people noticed.
Whereas the Snow White model is the message ad infinitum, shoved directly up your ass, and, most importantly, in the most insufferable possible way, like screamed at you.
Some blamed the clashing tones. Others said it was obvious. Behind-the-scenes meddling had butchered any real vision. And when the rumor broke that Jack Black himself had confronted Rachel over the disaster, it just confirmed every suspicion people had about the chaos spiraling out of control. Even Jack, the ultimate Hollywood survivor, couldn't keep quiet anymore. Yikes.
And so let's see how they fared against each other. The Minecraft movie breaks box office record with $300 million global opening, while woke Snow White slips again.
The internet exploded. Cynics pointed at the confrontation as proof of a full-scale meltdown behind the scenes. Meanwhile, defenders of Rachel fought back, arguing that of course she would be emotional. She was a young woman under relentless attack, carrying the hopes of a billion-dollar franchise on her shoulders. But deep down, a nagging truth lingered. Something wasn't right.
In theory, Snow White should as well. Snow White's the movie that made Disney, the studio. They should have been more cautious and careful with their own IP.
And then came the endless speculation. Where did Jack confront her? Was it backstage during a press junket? Was it a private call overheard by insiders? Or just a messy text thread that got blown way out of proportion? Nobody knew for sure. But what everyone agreed on? Rachel withdrew from the public eye after the rumors spread. She went quiet, suspiciously quiet.
The Disney Snow White, faithfully adapted, would have made $1 billion. Everyone knows this.
And that silence only added gasoline to the fire. If nothing happened, why not deny it? If something did happen, what were they hiding? Meanwhile, fans dissected every leaked detail from the disastrous test screenings. The feedback was scathing. Instead of a charming fairy tale, the movie felt like a forced lecture awkwardly stitched together with clunky scenes. Even if Jack Black had a comedic cameo, insiders said, it didn't mesh with the heavy messaging weighing the movie down.
So the film received a low score on Rotten Tomatoes, but 87% fan approval. The rankings were very similar to Snow White, which received a 40% critic score, 73% audience ranking. Yeah, right.
Hardcore Disney fans, the ones who grew up worshiping the Mouse House, came out of the test screenings devastated. The magic was gone. The pacing was a nightmare. The tonal shifts gave viewers emotional whiplash. Some even whispered that Jack Black's confrontation was his way of begging for the movie to be saved, a desperate attempt to stop the train wreck he saw coming. But it was too late. Way too late.
However, the Minecraft movie was not plagued by a controversy of being woke.
And here's where it got uglier. This wasn't just about angry YouTubers ranting into their cameras. This was Disney's loyal core fan base turning against them. When the diehards, the people who defended the Lion King remake and Aladdin no matter what, start walking away, you know you have a serious problem. The meltdown rumor wasn't just gossip anymore. It was a symbol of how far things had spiraled out of control. Critics didn't hold back either. Others said she was simply exhausted. The pressure, the social media hate, the crushing realization that her fairy tale dream was turning into a public relations nightmare. Whatever the truth, one thing was clear. Rachel's breakdown wasn't just about one conversation. It was about months, maybe years, of mounting tension finally exploding. And Disney? Oh, they were scrambling behind the scenes. They issued no official denials about the alleged breakdown, no clarifications, no reassurances, just silence. The kind of deafening silence that made even casual moviegoers think, whoa, maybe there's more truth to this than they want us to know. Meanwhile, the early signs didn't look good. Ticket pre-sales? Underwhelming. Fan reactions? Mixed at best, brutal at worst. Industry insiders were already whispering, if Snow White bombs, it could change everything about how Disney handles future remakes. Forget bold, preachy reimaginings. Executives might be forced to finally listen, to get back to basics, to honor what fans loved in the first place. And the meltdown? It might be remembered as the moment the whole house of cards started collapsing. Behind closed doors, Disney insiders reportedly panicked about one thing above all else. Not just a box office flop, but losing the trust of the fans who had once been their most loyal defenders. When trust is broken, it's almost impossible to get it back. And so, Rachel Zegler, Jack Black, Bob Iger, and the entire Snow White team found themselves trapped in a nightmare of their own making. The confrontation rumor became a lightning rod. The alleged breakdown became the symbol of Disney's fall from fairy tale grace. Whether the meltdown actually happened exactly as described? At this point, it almost didn't matter. Because in the court of public opinion, the damage was already done. The deeper truth? The Jack Black-Rachel Zegler meltdown rumor captured everything people already feared about Disney's Snow White. Instead of rebuilding excitement, they just reminded everyone how far Snow White had drifted from its heart. Some Disney insiders insisted that Rachel was being targeted unfairly, that the hate was manufactured by trolls. And yes, the internet can be cruel, but that excuse ignored a bigger, scarier truth. Longtime Disney fans weren't trolls. They were loyalists. They were the very people who wanted to love this movie and couldn't. The heartbreak ran deep. Meanwhile, Jack Black? He stayed silent publicly. No tweets, no interviews confirming or denying the rumors, and honestly, that silence spoke louder than any words could. If nothing had happened, why not squash the rumors immediately? If he truly cared about protecting Rachel's reputation, why let the story snowball? Some believe Jack felt trapped, wanting to be supportive but unable to deny what he had witnessed firsthand. And poor Rachel, she became the face of the controversy, whether she deserved it or not. Innocent or guilty, overwhelmed or defiant, it didn't matter. She was now forever linked to one of Disney's most controversial remakes ever, a cautionary tale, a symbol of how even the brightest fairy tale dreams can turn into a living nightmare under the wrong spotlight. The final blow? Disney's own fan base, the people who had carried The Jungle Book, Beauty and the Beast, and Aladdin to billion-dollar success, began walking away. In droves. Some said they felt betrayed. Some said they were just tired of being talked down to. Others said, flat out, this isn't the Disney we fell in love with. And so, as the release date crept closer, one thing became chillingly clear. No amount of corporate spin could undo the damage. If Snow White bombed, it wouldn't just be because of a few angry YouTubers. It would be because the magic was gone. The meltdown, real, exaggerated, or metaphorical, would become the enduring image tied to this movie's legacy. Rachel crying backstage, Jack Black confronting her, producers scrambling to stitch together a sinking ship. The bottom line, whether Rachel truly broke down after Jack Black confronted her, or whether it's just gossip that got out of hand, the idea of the meltdown stuck because it felt true. Because sometimes, the rumors that sting the most are the ones that hit closest to the truth. And now, Snow White's troubled journey, messy, heartbreaking, and soaked in scandal, is burned into Hollywood history. No fairy tale magic, no happily ever after. Just a cautionary tale about what happens when you lose sight of what made a story timeless in the first place.